Welcome to another episode of A Lot Going On. Joining me today, I've got Diego, our new creative director, because we are actually going to work out on camera a new service that we're going to be taking to market, which is Vlog as a product. And when Diego tells you about himself, and then I tell you about my rationale, they overlap so much that I thought, okay, if we're going to put this together, let's just do it on camera. And it's going to be quite interesting for anybody who's in the content industry and anybody who's working in the Dubai content space, because this is something that is going to be successful in the next few weeks. But let's just talk through what some of the trends are and the bits that we're going to lean on. And if you're watching or listening and you want to do this yourself or take anything away from it, more power to you. So Diego, welcome to Creative Content Agency First. It's been amazing having you work on My Friends, Your Friends and other bits and pieces. And welcome to the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for bringing me into the fold. It's been a wonderful and fast, 3 months in Dubai, but it's been a great continuation of our, 48 hours spent together almost a year ago now. So
yeah, give people the context. So how did we connect and make friends and find ourselves working now in the same business, in the same, like shooting in the same direction content wise?
My path first crossed with CCA, Raj, Vic, crew about a year ago, because for the last 2 years ish, I was the chief content officer of Ryan Serhant, who is like a celebrity real estate CEO, brokerage owner in New York City that's kind of leading the industry, the market of real estate and brand development through content. So it's a media first, media forward brokerage. And, that being the approach to the company, he embodies that heavily through personal brand development. So I ran, short form, long form video strategy, development and production across, all social channels that took video for the last 2 years for himself. But Aldar, the developer, was lovely enough to have him on stage at their ginormous and awesome conference, Aldar Experts at Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi last year. And CCA, Raj and Vic were, manning the production and the content capture during that shenanigan. And, naturally, me being behind the camera, them being behind the camera, us kind of producing as much content out of the event, we kind of fell into our natural rhythm, and then stayed in touch, and now here we are a year later.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, because firstly, shout out to Aldar, because it's crazy. Their thing is that they want to bring a whole bunch of brokers together and build a community, but what they're also doing is they're also building communities out of the creators that sit behind those people. So as you rightly said, we're behind the camera producing a lot of content for Aldar. You were doing it for Ryan. And then we stayed in contact. You decided that over a period of time that you were going to move to the UAE because you saw the opportunity here. So welcome and congratulations on that front.
Got the Emirates ID yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations, Emirates ID. Yeah. It's a big moment.
Yeah, I know. It felt good. Good.
It's nice. I'm glad you've got it. And that's going to make life much more fluid in this city. And then obviously you joined us, you started working almost immediately. You just kind of found a gap in the business and said, okay, I'm going to work on My Friends, Your Friends. And you gave me some tips for my brand, because we always need that objectivity, and things have worked out really great. You're now effectively working as a creative director and talking to some of our early stage deals with some big brands who we won't mention on the pod today. And we're going to keep them between us. But, you're involved in some pitches for some incredible clients that we're about to onboard. But one thing that we've been talking about on and off is vlogging as a, should we say product or service?
No, vlogging as a product.
Why product and not service, do you reckon?
Because vlog, if we're getting into it right now, the vlog is a tried and true format. It's helped many creators, individuals, brands, companies build an audience, a community, a following, and a successful brand through content on YouTube, namely being the main platform. But you've seen iterations of a vlog on short form video as well. But it's never been something that has been approached as, a one-time product that you can purchase. Everyone approaches vlogging as, either a full-time role or a whole entire team or system that they need to build out. And so branding it and approaching it as vlogging as a product is the unique way and delivery of this format. It's kind of minimizing the barrier for someone to have their own vlog now, right? Whereas before it had to be this whole process, relationship building with a certain creator and individual that, had all the skill set behind the camera and the relationship with the talent to kind of produce their life, so to speak. So hopefully, the wording and the vocab is right, where vlogging as a product seems more achievable for anyone looking to build brand through long form video.
Yeah, I like it. You've convinced me on it, because a service does have a sense of being more ongoing, Whereas a product, once the product is finished, you hand it over. And one of the pain points we've had in our business is that we go into organizations where sometimes they say to us, we need multiple D-Rocks. So for anybody outside the industry, D-Rock is the short name that Gary Vaynerchuk, a leading entrepreneur, content creator, gave to a game-changing producer for him, David Rock. Shout out to David.
Yeah,
a mutual
shout
friend.
out to David.
Yeah, a mutual friend
He's
of both of ours.
everywhere. He
Yes.
connects all the dots.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a great dude, and he effectively created the entrepreneur vlog. And if he didn't, if you know, there'll always be people that say, "Oh, there was one guy 10 minutes before him" or whatever. But he is the guy that institutionalized, like he is the Sugar Hill Gang of like entrepreneur content, right? He made it mainstream and popular, and we have clients come to us and say, "Hey, listen." On this day, we've got 3 executives, 5 executives. They all need their own camera person following them around for these magical moments that will happen in their day, whatever this kind of tentpole day is in their year. And so we originally thought to ourselves, okay, what if we had like a team of D-Rocks that all produced to a certain standard that we could then kind of hire out? And then when you came along, you were saying, well, we can just have like one person, I guess, that is, we focus more on the storytelling capability rather than the vlogging, because a real pain point in our business is we then get those D-Rocks to hand their content over to us, and then we have to go into the edit, and then the edit can be somebody else. And the business agenda, this is the tricky bit for Vic and I, the business agenda, which is offloaded onto us, into our brains before the shoot happens, like these are the things we're trying to communicate, often gets lost between this anonymous camera person and this anonymous editor. So what we're talking about is almost like the brief is vertically integrated, where you come and you sit with Vic, yourself, myself, all of us who have our own kind of different strengths on the strategy, the content creation, the operations side. We then take that whole story and then roll it out, where in some cases you'll be shooting, in some cases other people will be shooting. But when it all comes back to home base, we can take either multiple executives or a single person and tell their story in this vlog format. So for anybody who's never done it before, and that's going to be a lot of people that are reaching out to me on DM right now and will reach out once they see this video, because truth be told, I'm going to send this podcast episode to people who I think should be doing it.
Yeah. Everyone should be doing it.
Exactly. If you lead an interesting life, you will be able to put together an interesting vlog that will help you convert your sales. What is that vlog to the best of your understanding? Because you've made so many of them.
Yeah. No, so the vlog is a relationship-based piece of content. I see content usually in 2 verticals and like kind of 2 performing categories across long-form video. You have value-based content and you have relationship-based content. It's pretty self-explanatory. Value-based content, you're watching it to learn something. Usually it's a video you'll be watching, you're taking notes. There's like a certain aspect of value that you want to capture from that video. Relationship-based piece of content is really cemented in the entertainment and the relationship that you're having with the person on camera or the environment on camera. And you're watching it purely for, you're watching it as the consumer of a creator. You're not watching it for any certain aspect of value. And I see, the pendulum metaphor works really well in this case scenario, where it ebbs and flows, the quantity of relationship versus value-based piece of content over platforms like YouTube, where if you rewind 5 years ago, you had the heyday of like Casey Neistat, Emma Chamberlain, like the people that made vlogging, like probably put the term on the map in terms of a format across the platform. And we were watching them skateboard, eat pizza, brush their teeth, eat coffee. Like there was really no agenda there. And then I don't know what happened to people's attention span. Maybe it was like the rapid growth of short form video, but everyone came to platforms, that video-based platform, short form and long form, with an intention to learn and to educate and to search. And the search engine tool became greater function. SEO became a much greater function. And people were starting to teach, learn based off of long form video. And so you had the rise of kind of creators like Hormozy, Godzy, other education-based channels, or like thought leader and entrepreneurship creators. A lot more entrepreneurs saw the value in content because it kind of spoke more to their audience that wanted to emulate success or certain business models. And now what you're seeing is a hypersaturation of value-based content. I think people are craving more of that relationship in the content that they consume, more of a connection with the creator. And the vlog is starting to resurface, albeit in a different light, but with more intention and more production around the story rather than just documenting and creating.
Yeah.
And so this vlog would be really intentional to help give dimension to one's personal brand by bringing them into, unique aspects of their life that aren't hyper, I guess, are more unique and differentiate them further to their competitors that, either aren't vlogging or they're not, as versed in content or aren't building out their brand in that dimension, and to give them more touch points to differentiate themselves to their audience and therefore build a following that's, willing not only to follow their journey across video form and long form video, but also to, maybe work with them in their business relationships as such.
I'm going to convert that to English, which is
yeah, please do.
because that's definitely like a media thing, which ultimately means that, look, if you're a real estate person in this country or you lead any kind of interesting life,
Everyone
where
leads
you're
an
going,
interesting life.
yeah, everybody leads an
Yeah.
interesting life. But the thing about professional people is that if you're a professional person who's offering value through your content, you automatically have permission to go longer form with people. To your point, Diego, one of the reasons why short form became really, really popular and accessible is because it's okay to consume short form content by a bunch of people that you don't yet know, like, and trust. So in the 4Ps, what we talk about is that if you look at if you see a jacket, you'll go and check the price tag of that jacket and you'll imagine the value you'll get from that jacket and if it's worth the price tag and the money you have to exchange for it. The price tag on a piece of content is the clock in the bottom right corner of YouTube. So when someone says, I'm going to teach you this or explain this to you in 2 minutes, people are like, well, I don't know this person, so I'll give them 2 minutes. But if that person might be your future real estate broker, mortgage broker, lawyer, accountant, management consultant, and they say they're going to explain a concept to you and it's going to take 19 minutes, you're going to give them that 19 minutes because you know what? It's going to cost you a lot more to spend 19 minutes in real life with that person, especially if they're charging for it. Why not take the long form content? And with so many people leading interesting lives, if you're a professional person that's already leading an interesting life, you layer on a professional storyteller who will then put that into an order and a sequence for you that will make it easier for people to want to work with you. And it will make leads that you've already got convert quicker. And if you put it on YouTube the right way, it will help people discover you. And then the people that are already working with you, it acts as like a multimedia 3-dimensional business card, which they can flick to other people and be like, hey, yo, this is my real estate guy. This is my, lawyer, whoever it is. And then instead of just passing on your number on WhatsApp, they're sending over this kind of like mini documentary on you, which can do a much better job at converting the next person and making that next person your client. You've seen that happen, right?
100%. If I were to take what I said and put it even very succinctly, the vlog that we're trying to create and offering it as a vlog as a product is the hero asset for your personal brand, which is increasingly more of a trend word, which everyone is trying to achieve through content strategy or long form, short form, written, whatever it be. They're trying to build out their personal brand to further differentiate, their business or service offerings or whatever they're selling at the end of the day. And everyone is, seeing the power and the low barrier to entry relative to start executing content and build out their personal brand. A vlog is just your hero asset. It's the greatest, like you said, it has more runway in terms of time and relationship to build with your audience, your viewers, than any other form of content. And I just think that, opening up the doors to the vlog as a product to people that, haven't yet had the systems, because it is quite an intense system to build it into your content strategy, and offering it to them as, a week of production. We can get into the nuances of how we package it. But giving them this package that they can purchase rather than, take on the burden of building out an entire system around, a vlog is, our solution to offering this hero asset for their personal brand.
I saw this video the other day online and it said that too many people rely on a long form podcast to be the reason why they put out micro clips. So we've all heard, even Gary Vee and many people have talked about this. Go and do a long form podcast. Now you've got a long form podcast and, 3 to 5 micro clips. But if all of the attention on that creator who's not yet built know, like, and trust, and all of the pressure is on the micro clips, why not just make a specially engineered microclip? Because a really good microclip has a certain chemistry to it as well, the way the starts, the middle and end part of a microclip. What are your thoughts on that? I'll throw my bias in real quick. In Dubai, I feel like this aesthetic and this physical studio that we're in right now is basically on everyone's Instagram feed. And so in those clips, people try to give the best content they can, but then you need an editor to put hype on top of it and context, which is B-roll and words and to keep people engaged. And if your content that you're speaking isn't engaging enough and you need so much animation on top, then maybe that content is relying too much on the supplementary post-production. A great point that you've made to me in the past, which is phenomenal, is that if you're making a vlog of somebody, the context is built into the scene because that real estate person is on location, or that accountant is talking about something specific at a conference or whatever the case may be, or engaging with their customers, or maybe getting a testimonial, which is not their client talking to camera and giving a classic testimonial, but it's just the client seeing them in a cafe and being like, hey, listen, you did this thing for me 2 weeks ago, and by the way, this is how my life's changed as a result. It's like all contextual. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I think you say it in a pretty incredible way, which is that there's a lot more that a vlog can give in terms of a wraparound to build that thought leadership and personality.
Yeah, no, 100%. One thing I'll touch on before I dive into, my response is you saying like kind of this aesthetic, the podcast format, the micros, it's on everybody's feed is a great sign that everybody, because this is, I guess on the scale of how crazy you can get with content strategy and content creation, this is a great way for people to start dipping their toes into the water and messing around with content strategy as it relates to their brand and relates to their business strategy. So people are already trying to do it. And I think with formats like this, the average person and the average person that will benefit from taking on content strategy will hit a ceiling in terms of the return to their brand. When, all you have is a bot podcast studio and only so many thoughts, and like that environment's not that dynamic. So when they do hit that ceiling, it's good for them to know that there is an evolution in the format that they, or there is evolution in the content that they can create to, take their strategy and take the return to brand through like content to the next level. And that is the vlog. Creating a long form asset to then chop it up will obviously be never as specialized or high performing as creating, directly for the product. But I think what the vlog does really well is, and you hear it all the time, and I've created many vlogs for many entrepreneurs, and their biggest thing they always say is like the tagline of they just want to save time and they want to make the time most efficient. If a CEO, if a business person, if a real estate broker that, needs to be out there selling houses, doing showings, taking meetings, meeting clients, has to sit in a room for like an hour, 2 hours, spill to camera to then get like 5 to 10 micros out of it, they can't do anything else for the rest of that time. But with, the vlog as a format, you inherently take the camera into the environment. And if you have the right person, the right storyteller that's able to direct and produce your life and get those micro prompts out of you in the field, you're way more efficient with your time. Like you are doing what you're meant to do. You're conducting business. And if you have the right talent there, the camera is in the situation with you, context is built in. You don't need 1,000 neon graphic animations going on behind you. And it really gets to show people that you're walking the walk while you're talking the talk. Whereas you don't have to rely on any ambiguity in like, the graphics, or it's like a real estate agent shouldn't be known for the graphics behind them. A dentist shouldn't be known for the graphics behind them. There are exceptions with people that develop amazing content styles, but it would be 10 times more amazing if, this, doctor was known for the way he treated his patients on camera, the way he ran his team on camera. If a real estate agent, builds a team, shows a certain team meeting, it's way more intimate, and I think goes like the runway is like exponentially deeper and has a way more profound impact on the return to brand than, micro formats that are taken out of long form things like podcasts.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I think that's one of the big tidal wave changes I'm seeing coming this year, especially because we've seen also like the mainstream media companies, the Disneys, the Amazons, the Netflix, like they've all beefed up and they all are big actors in the attention economy.
Yeah.
Because effectively anything that happens on your screen can go up against anything else that can happen on your screen. So what people tend to forget is that when you're making content for social media, you're literally competing with the whole of Amazon Prime, the whole of Netflix, the whole of Disney, the whole of Hulu, every song on iTunes, and your ideal customer at the moment you drop a video getting a text message that their niece has just taken their first steps on WhatsApp and flicking to that video content. And so to cut through you've used the best term. It has to be very, very intentional, which is I'm making this video for this reason. We broadly categorize it as like, are you making a piece of content to activate somebody, which is take them from not knowing you to knowing you? Are you taking it to convert them, which is they know you, but they don't spend with you? Or are you doing it to empower them, which is that they spend with you, but they're not telling other people about you?
Yeah.
So it's the ACE model.
The beautiful thing, like, sorry to cut you off, but the beautiful thing about a vlog is it is an ACE. It's all three of those. You know, when you have 60 to 90 seconds, maybe 30 seconds in a podcast micro or a short form piece of content that you've, you know, scripted or strategized for, you have to identify a single intention. Now, with 15 to 20 minutes of whatever you get into, you can do all of that. And so it's a really catch all, and it's investment in time and, like, you know, kind of more strategy to it. But that's why it's a more intimate approach to content with the client that, you know, like we create vlogs for and we'll create vlogs for to help like check all those boxes efficiently and make sure that we cover all those bases so that no one is left, you know, ending the vlog, you know, wondering what they do, who they do it with, how they do it, non-activated, non-converted, non-empowered. Like, the goal is to do all of those within a long form piece of content.
Right. So this is something I've not told you about today's podcast. I want to role play with you today on camera what some of the conversations are going to be like, whether you and I are in meetings together or whether you and Vic are in meetings together or me and Vic are in a meeting and you're somewhere else. This is what happens in Dubai specifically for a number of different reasons. And I want you to deal with it raw on camera right now. Okay?
Let's do it.
CCA, Diego, your pitches, you'll follow me around for a week. You'll give me a long form piece of content, 2 or 3 strategic bits of micro content, and you're asking for this much money. And we charge a good amount for this. We're not going to do it like for the price of somebody who's just going to follow you with a camera, who's not a strategic storyteller. Why wouldn't you make me 2 vlogs if you're going to follow me around for a week? Like, there is a logic here in the East and the Middle East where people are like, you can only give me 1 for this? Like, can't you give me 2?
There's
Why
a logic
1?
everywhere.
Tell me what, because we had this. We signed one of our most successful clients a long time ago, and they were like, well, if you're going to shoot all this and you're going to give me this output, why not just double the output? Surely the source material will give you enough for 2. Explain that rationale. And I'd rather you say it than I say it, because I think I'll just go super like raw on it. But
No, there's that logic everywhere. As content, video, photo, digital media has gotten more integrated into the business world, it's been approached from a more ruthless standard in terms of what's required to create a long form video, a short form video. And I fell in love with content at a time when it was like the art of building relationship through video. And so kind of seeing it go through the commercialization of content and the commercialization of a vlog was not painful, but it was a really like stark awakening to like what people think or what clients would think it took to create, you know, what I think is, you know, a beautiful art form in encapsulating every aspect of one's personality, one's profession, and being able to communicate that in an intimate way that makes, you know, the viewer feel involved or acknowledged. I think that is no small feat. And the variability of people who are interested in building brand through long form video, the variability in their lives requires that amount of runway, not only to get the amount of content, but for me or whoever's behind the camera, the strategic storyteller that's, you know, crafting this vlog as a product, to build the relationship that really gets them comfortable to ask the right questions, bring the right information out of the client, you know, see how they work, identify certain identify certain moments that, you know, are good story points, good like character development moments. It, like, if I sit with you, like even in a day, like I'll notice things that I wish I could have noticed or like asked you or got you to talk on at the beginning of the day. If I have a week's runway with you, I have all the time in the world that I'll ever need to identify certain things to ask you to get to communicate to your audience or your target audience. And it gives the runway not only to capture it, but for me to, you know, to identify those moments.
okay, so what we're saying here is Could we produce 2 vlogs from 1 week's worth of raw footage? Yes, we could. But what we're not interested in doing is having the chance of having a home run with a client and trying to dilute it into 2 videos. For most people, even if they lead interesting lives, there is a much higher chance that if we get 1 week of footage of your interesting life, that we'll get 1 killer 10 out of 10 vlog. We, as an agency, our thesis is we would rather get 1 10 out of 10 vlog than 2 8 out of 10 vlogs, because there is a difference if you have 6 10 out of 10 vlogs and it takes 6 weeks than if you have 6 8 out of 10 vlogs and it takes 3 weeks.
No, 100%. I mean, for anyone that, you know, sees the proposal and is like a week of production, you only get like 1 video, a week of capture and you only get 1 video. It's like, why do you want 2? And if it's, you think that quantity is what's going to build your brand, then I think you're approaching brand wrong. It's quality. And that's what I, in my 3, 4, 5 years, half a decade of experience of creating these story-based products through video, would require for me to do for any stranger. And it's universal. Like, sure, people that are already optimized, like to mention him, my past boss, compatriot, Ryan, like, he's been in front of the camera for a decade on traditional media and now on social media and all different platforms. Like, he needs a day maybe for me to get, and I spent every like minute of my professional life for the last 2 years with him. Like, I know what I need from him. If it's a stranger, that relationship isn't there, that context isn't there, that skill set isn't there. A week is what I need to coach you to be the person you need to be on camera so that you can have the return to your brand that this product will give you. And if you constrain that to 1, 2 days, 72 hours, the process, it adds a lot more friction to the process, and it will inevitably deteriorate the product. And
if you tried to do it in 3 days, there's just less likely a chance that you're going to make sure that 20-minute vlog is hardcore, impressive, and proves what you claim about yourself. That's ultimately it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, the vlog is an art form, as I see it, as this, hero asset for your personal brand. It should be, it's organic. You can't approach it any other way. You need to be yourself on camera. You can't, you can't act for a certain intention. That's not the point of like the vlog as a product. That's not a point of a vlog. The point of a vlog is to give someone a visual format that, is raw and organic. Like, if you're gonna manufacture situations and then force that into 3 days and then be like, this is what I do every day, like, that's not the case. And I think giving a window of 4 to 7 days of production, of capture, really lets the talent on camera breathe and be like, okay, I don't need to like put on a show for like, because you can put on a show for 1 day, 2 days.
It's a brilliant point.
Good point. To put on a show for 4 to 7 days, that's kind of a deterrent to tell them that, no, we're not creating, some movie for the silver screen. We're creating a movie for you, and you should just be you. Like,
such a good point.
Like, I don't need you to be some character that you're not for 4 to 7 days. Like, that's completely the opposite.
Yeah.
And if you try to be a character that you're not for like 4 to 7 days, like, it will be a great vlog because, you'll see how the person transitions, how they take, the character into certain situations, how it changes, and it'll be a great vlog. So please, by all means, try.
Yeah, and I think it's an act of generosity on our part as well, because if you shoot for 3 days, let's just say you shoot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the evolution of your personality and the evolution of your relationship with
100%.
Not only the physical camera that shoots you, but the person behind the camera, you're cutting it short at 3 days. Whereas if you go 5 days, you're allowed to have a better relationship with that person. And then if you do 6 weeks of 5 days a week, or 6 months of 1 week a month, what you're going to end up with is going to be absolutely incredible. And how cool would it be for a client's brand if in 6 months' time, the biggest week of every month that came prior was summarized in a vlog, and then when someone's thinking about doing business with you, they've got effectively like season 1, right, of 6 episodes. Each one's 20 minutes. And I think one thing that a lot of professional people, and I'm talking about management consultants, lawyers, doctors, architects, whatever, they don't realize that when people are consuming their content, they're doing it whilst making breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
They're doing it whilst having a shower. Or
why do you think podcasts are on video now? Like, it's
Yeah.
It's the whole.
But psychologically, I think accountants, especially accountants that lead interesting lives or professional people that lead interesting lives, don't think that they can jam their content in to a world where people are choosing to consume, like, Netflix or Amazon Prime TV shows or reruns of Friends. It's just not the case. The fact is, relevance is now a nano game. And as long as you don't need to be relevant to hundreds of people, you need to be relevant to the 3 to 5 people that you've currently got proposals in their inbox.
Exactly.
And if your proposal is backed up by a very interesting vlog, you can literally run 2 parallel universes. I have a proposal with this big company in universe A and universe B. But in universe B, they have a YouTube channel with a collection of vlogs showing how we do what we do in situation, in context. Universe B is always going to get that deal. The question is the person, the client in universe B, prepared to pay now for that future outcome?
Yeah. And I'll always say it's a return to brand. Like,
explain that, because you mentioned it a few times. It is something that I think in this market, and I'm saying this like super respectfully, I think that's a term that the average professional or active salesperson in the Middle East will not understand what return to brand means.
Yeah. Okay, we're playing with a lot of words here. We're saying vlog as a product, software as a service is like the trendy thing that it comes out of.
Yeah.
Return on investment, critical business term. The problem is with content, it's so hard to see the return on investment when it comes to relationship-based products like vlogs. Because unless you're a full-time creator, which, I don't think the target, client, the avatar client for a vlog as a product is, the revenue that you generate off of YouTube, off of any platform, through through content strategy, through you posting strategic pieces of content, is not going to pay itself back. It's going to be a return to your brand. People are going to want to work for you because they've seen,
return to your brand means it's going to enhance your brand.
It's going to enhance your brand
and grow your brand.
And that's what you should measure. You should measure the qualitative conversations that you have with clients, potential clients, in pitches with, strangers that have seen your video pop up on LinkedIn, on YouTube. That is the return that we're going to value. It's not going to be, like
a direct return, like monetary,
like a direct
call to action return.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, I think we've got everything covered there. Now, what I love about today's episode, we only came up with this idea yesterday, is that we thought we'll just dedicate an episode of ALGO to our thesis and our rationale behind taking this product to market. As sure as night follows day, this product, vlog as a product, will be successful because the fact that you've got the 3 of us working on it, CCA with our market access and the clients we've got, you with your particular heritage and storytelling and technical ability, and then the way that we just package it all together and take it is going to be really, really successful. So here's my ask, especially if I've sent you this video directly on your WhatsApp and written something along the lines of, hey, enter name, I think you should buy this from us. This is going to make a big impact on your business. I've just given you the pitch. Other than Vic, you've got myself and Diego here talking about the rationale and how we're going to do it. And there will be sweetheart deals available if you want to do this with us, particularly in 2024. So if you do, drop me a note right now, raj@creativecontentagency.com. If you're interested in the vlog as a product, you will be on a call with Diego and I as a minimum, because we are obviously making sure that we spend a lot of time with the people that are interested in doing this product with us. And so take action right now. And for everybody else listening on ALGO more broadly, I hope this gave you an insight as to why we think that the comeback of vlogs, maybe 2.0, maybe 3.0. I'd say 3.0. I'd say first one was Casey. Second one was the D-Rock format.
Yeah.
But the much more...
I would say it's returning with way more runway and higher production quality. I think now...
I'd say so. Good point.
Yeah. I think a good way to look at it is because of the commercialization of content, so many people have picked up this skill set. Now so many people have a knack for it. No longer is, execution enough of a differentiating factor. Creating content is now almost compulsory if you want to take your brand to the next level, take your business to the next level. Now where you really need to get strategic with it is how intimate you get yourself with content. And I think that's why the vlog as a product and vlog as a format more broadly, and I'm excited because this is my favorite format within the entire content universe, is having a comeback, is because this is what it requires for people to differentiate themselves now. And it's higher lift because of that, because everyone's playing the content game now, but not everyone is playing the vlog game. And I think the people that are already doing it, you're already seeing like a massive, return to their brand, but a massive success for what they're trying to build outside of content. And they're doing it through, this long form.
Yeah. And I think I'd also extend what you just said and what I just said to people that are visiting the UAE as well. So if you're visiting the UAE, you're coming in town for a talk, you're coming in town for a keynote, you don't have to be here for a week. From the moment you land to the moment you leave, if you believe that you being in Dubai is going to create a story that's worth telling, that's a good time to reach out to us. And I can tell you this, if it's your first time coming to Dubai, or if you've been to Dubai less than half a dozen times for talks or keynotes or business or things of that nature, you absolutely do need to reach out to us, because we know the backdrop moments in the city that will absolutely help you tell your Dubai story to people in your home territory, whether that be the US, UK, Europe. We can tell the story of your time in Dubai in a very specific way to a Diego level, New York City, London standard, but with the backdrop and the context of Dubai, which is obviously a world that we as creative content agency, my friends, your friends, contentstrategy.ai know super well. Hope you found that useful, Diego. Thanks so much.
No, thank you.
I'm really excited.
Vlogs.
Yeah, exactly. Wicked. I'm really excited to do this. For everybody else, if you enjoyed this podcast, got any value from it, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Forward this content to anybody who you think would benefit from it, especially if they want to make a vlog, and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all of the places where we need all that algorithmic love. And we'll see you on the next episode of A Lot Going On. Peace.